In Deuteronomy, the Torah explicitly states that one must bury the dead. This requirement means to bury the dead, the body in its entirety, not after it's been diminished by cremation or any other way. This is also expressed in Genesis, where it says that God made man from the dust, and dust you are, and to dust you will return. There are a number of reasons why the Torah says we must bury and not cremate. I'll share with you a few. One reason is the body does not belong to us, it belongs to its creator. It's merely given to us as a loan, and we are the guardians of the body. We have no right to deface it in any way, even after the soul departs from the body. Similar to what we discussed regarding tattoos. Additionally, we know that the Torah says that the human body is made in the image and the likeness of God. Defacing the body in any way is violating God's image. A second explanation is given that when the body is a vehicle for good deeds, it is invested with a permanent sanctity and sacredness. According to Jewish law, an object that has facilitated a mitzvah must be accorded great respect and not be discarded. For example, a Torah scroll, tefillin, mezuzot, even papers where there is writing of the words of Torah may not be discarded, but must be buried. How much more so when a body, a human being, does a mitzvah, the sacredness of the body requires us to bury it with respect. A third reason given is that one of the fundamental principles of our religion, and Maimonides has codified it as the 13th fundamental principle of our faith, is that after the Mashiach comes, there will be the resurrection of the dead. The resurrection of the dead is that the body will come back with its soul and reap the fruits of its labor for all the good deeds that both the body and soul did in its lifetime. When somebody cremates a body, they are implying that they are denying in this concept of the resurrection of the body. It's in some way a declaration that once the soul leaves the body has no value anymore and no purpose anymore. And we also know that the sages say that someone who denies in the resurrection will not merit the resurrection. The soul of that person will be resurrected in some other body. So therefore, those who cremate the bodies, by implying that they don't believe in the resurrection of the body, will not merit the resurrection with that body, but their soul will be resurrected in another body. Obviously, this only applies to somebody who optionally decides to cremate their body. Obviously, those bodies that were unfortunately cremated against their will does not apply. Obviously, it comes to mind straight away. So many of the 6 million, their bodies were cremated, and most definitely they will be on the forefront, on the front line, when it comes to the resurrection of the dead. A fourth reason is that we are commanded by the Torah not to follow the practices of pagan culture. It has been, and it still is, a practice in pagan cultures to cremate their bodies. So therefore, cremating our bodies is a violation of this biblical prohibition. Throughout our history, traditional Jewish burial, known in Hebrew as Kever Yisrael, has been one of our highest priorities. This has made us distinguishable from many other cultures. Actually, this fact has been noted by the famous Roman historian Tacitus from the 1st century. Also, understanding this important mitzvah, the Israeli army goes to great lengths and great risks behind enemies' lines to bring back the bodies of our fallen comrades. A fifth reason, according to the Kabbalah, the soul does not depart immediately from the body after death. Such an abrupt departure would be intensely painful for the body. But the gradual decomposition of the body allows the soul to slowly depart from the body and adjust to its heavenly abode. So an instant destruction of the body caused by cremation deprives the soul from this much needed adjustment period. Now you might ask, what happens if the deceased has requested to that the body be cremated? And we know that it's a mitzvah to follow the instructions of the deceased, and especially if it's your parents. We must honor our parents and fulfill their wishes. It's one of the 10 Commandments. Nevertheless, halacha says that we not only don't have to listen to them, but we are not allowed to listen to them because the Torah prohibits it. And just like we have to follow the Torah, our parents also have to follow the Torah. And when our parents ask us to do something against the Torah, we are not allowed to follow them. And additionally, we believe that when the soul goes up to heaven, to the world of truth, they see the value and the importance of Jewish burial, and therefore they for sure give their consent for a Jewish burial. I wish to conclude with the following insight. When cremated, the body becomes ash. When buried, the body returns and becomes one with soil. There's a very big difference between the two. Soil is fertile, ash is not. Ash is barren and lifeless, but soil allows new growth and further life. Turning the body into ash is unnatural. But when the body decomposes and becomes one with the soil, is true to the inner meaning of death. The passing of one generation allows the sprouting of another. Our forebears are the soil from which we sprout. Even in their death, they are our source of life. Thank you.